When Brand and I were kids, we had to hand pull a lot of weeds. And when they were big, tall weeds, it wasn't easy. When we saw some giant ragweed, which is our weed of the week today, that stuff could get 10 feet tall, even a little bigger.
Yeah, it could, but you know what? I didn't mind pulling that as opposed to milkweed. Milkweed was a lot more difficult, so I don't know. I don't mind giant ragweed. I just don't like to have it in my fields anymore because it does take a lot of yield away.
Well, it certainly grows fast, shades out your crop, and pulls a lot of nutrients and water out of the ground, so giant ragweed is a bad problem. Plus, in many areas, it's becoming resistant to Roundup, which makes it even more of a challenge.
Yeah, and that is a challenge, especially in broadleaf crops like soybeans, because we don't have a lot of good post-emerge options. The best post option in soybeans would be First Rate. Flex Star is not too bad. Cobra has some activity. What we would encourage you to do pre-emerge is get out some Authority or Valor. Also get some Metribuzin out there. I like using those products as opposed to putting my First Rate in the soil, because if I use First Rate one time, I really don't want to use that same mode of action twice in the same season.
Well, you're taking a risk of having some carryover issues there. Fortunately, it's a little easier when we talk about corn production. You know, you can use some pre's to kind of hold things back, like a Sure Start or Triple Flex, for example. But then post-emerge, you've got Status. And Status is awesome. Post-emerge,
yeah,
you can control that giant ragweed that's, say, 6 inches tall or less.
Yeah, but even Callisto, Loudus, Impact, they're all good, and even better if you throw a little atrazine with them. In wheat, I'd probably suggest putting Sharpen down, follow with Husky over the top, and you shouldn't have a lot of problem with giant ragweed. So just stay after this thing, both pre and post, and giant ragweed won't rob a lot of yield on your farm.
That's all the time we have for this week's Weed, but Iron Talk is coming up next.